Hello students. Today I'd like to talk to you about the role of the health information management professional and the reimbursement and revenue cycle. Now, what you will find is the HIM professional plays a very important role within the revenue cycle. So what I'm going to illustrate for you right now is the revenue cycle, and then we're going to take a look at the individual types of tasks that the HIM professional performs as a result of completing the revenue cycle process. So let's take a look. The first thing that I want you to understand is that this is a process. It is a certain amount of activities that are going to take place in which certain functions are completed. So the first step in the revenue process is what we call scheduling, authorization, and approvals. And in this area, this is where the patient is first brought to contact with the healthcare organization, be it the scheduling process, authorization for services. This would take place in the admitting department of a hospital. Could be pre-registration process. So a lot of what we're trying to accomplish here is getting the scheduling and the authorization for care completed. The second piece is what we call the patient encounter. So now that we've scheduled them, we've gotten the authorization, we're assured that any services that we need to provide the patient are approved or that we're working on getting them approved, we now have an encounter with the patient. And when I say encounter with the patient, I mean all of the services that we are going to provide in providing care for our particular patient. And that can be in any healthcare setting. The next one is what we call the charge entry and coding process. This is where after the patient has received services, we're going to put all of the charges together and then we're going to assign codes to them so that they can be classified for healthcare delivery purposes as well as for billing and reimbursement purposes. Then we're going to perform our claim processing. So now that we've provided care to the patient, we have charge entry and coding process that's taken place. Now we need to put those codes and those charges someplace so that we can get them submitted to the healthcare facility. So that's where we do that is in the claims processing section. Now, be advised, I am not only saying that this is where we fill out the paper claim form, because in many cases we don't use the paper claim form anymore. This is where the electronic transactions that make up the claim processing process occurs. The next one is insurance follow-up and patient collection, which means any insurance processing. What may happen is we file the claim, that we get a response back from our payers that indicate that there's some additional follow-up that we need to do. We also may receive our payment from the insurance company or the individual payer, and now we have to do some patient collection follow-up. We need to collect a certain amount from the patient in addition to what we've taken care of or been paid for by the insurance company. And the last one obviously is payment. We want to make sure that we've received the appropriate amount of payment or that we've set up the payment cycle. We also want to take a look at what are the factors that relate to payment. And this doesn't happen necessarily just with collecting payment from the insurance company and the like. There's going to be a lot of internal processes that we're going to do as part of payment that's going to impact the revenue cycle process. So as you can see, this is a circular motion. These go back and forth, and we complete this process for every patient that we begin to see. Now, what we're concerned with, and let's add the additional layer on top of this, is what is the role of the HIM professional, because that's what we're most concerned with. So let's look at the first one. In the scheduling and authorization section, our HIM functions are going to be focused on things like provider enrollment, managed care, and contracting. And by contracting, I mean credentialing of the particular healthcare provider with the different payers, such as Medicare, third-party payers, or other government payers. So that's the functions that you're going to be focused on when we start talking about the scheduling and authorization step of the revenue cycle. So your assignments, your readings, all of the materials for the scheduling and authorization process will be centered around provider enrollment, managed care, and the contracting process. Okay? So the second process in the revenue cycle is the patient encounter. And HIM professionals in this step are concerned with the charge description master or the charge master, the CDM, and we work with the fee schedule. Again, just like what we indicated before, your assignments, your readings, and the weekly plan will focus around these activities. The next step, charge entry and coding. Our focus is going to be on privacy, security, CDI, which is clinical documentation improvement, and compliance. Okay, obviously we're also very much involved with the coding process, but we're also working on other revenue cycle types of functions in this step over and above the coding function. Now, from a claims processing perspective, we're more concerned with the patient accounting aspect of things, the business